Hey, welcome once again, all you Sec Plus preppers. These are the IT Dojo Security Plus practice questions of the day. I'm Colin Weaver, and every single day I ask you not one, but two practice questions for you to ponder and contemplate. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Question number one today. Which of the following, and I want you to pick two, are potential benefits of a mandatory vacation policy? Go ahead and give those a read. Click pause. When you're ready, click play, and we'll break it all down. All right, first item on the list, that it inhibits collusion between groups of people within an organization, attempting to defraud the organization. No, that is actually one of the benefits that's sort of sold along with the idea of job rotation, not mandatory vacation. Both of those are geared towards reducing fraud, but in terms of the specific aspect of collusion, that's more associated with job rotation. Next item on the list, it increases the ability to detect internal fraud. This is absolutely true. Now, mandatory vacation is usually attributed to having started in the financial services and banking industry, specifically geared towards the notion of if somebody's doing something that is fraudulent, they tend to need to be there on a daily basis to continue to suppress and hide the evidence of what they're doing. Now, if you make them take vacation, particularly if they're out of the office for a consecutive number of days, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to keep that fraud hidden, thereby, of course, getting detected, getting busted, and off with them they go. So that is absolutely one of the things that we're looking for here, is the capacity to detect internal fraud. Right, next choice on the list is that it's going to somehow help you identify security control violations. That is not true. We are specifically going to look for auditing in order to help us go in and do those things. And then the last item on the list, odd though it may seem to security-minded people, is that it will allow employees to get out of the organization, to get mentally rejuvenated, and hopefully they come back raring and firing up, ready to go, and they're going to be more productive as a result. And that actually is a reason to implement a mandatory vacation policy, that you force people, if you will, to get out and get away. And depending upon the country that you live in and the cultural norms that you have as far as how this stuff works, I know where I live in the United States, most companies are perfectly content with the idea of you just working and working and working and working and working, and will consume you. But increasingly, we see that a lot of companies are focused on this idea of, no, we want you to actually go, get away, come back refreshed, and hopefully better than before. So now, when this is being sold to your workforce, it's typically sold from the perspective of that latter one, which is the second correct answer. We don't usually also go and, oh, by the way, and if you're doing some junk that's illegal, we're going to find out while you're gone, even though that's certainly in our minds from a security perspective. So there you have it. All right, here comes question number two today. That's a lot of words, so I'm going to have to paraphrase. The way that it reads is you get a phone call from one of your users, and they say that their laptop currently displays a message saying that their computer has been locked by the cyber police, and that their laptop contains some sort of illegal content, and that they have to pay a fine within 60 hours, and there's a clock timer burning down, and that if they don't pay that fine within those 60 hours, that legal proceedings are going to begin. Now, my question to you is what would cause such a thing to take place? Choice number one, the user has stored illegal files on their computer. While they may have done that, that's not what causes this kind of a message to show up. So no, even though that's a seemingly obvious answer, this is absolutely the wrong answer. Choice number two, the system has a logic bomb that will go off in 60 hours. No, that's also not what is going on here. A logic bomb would imply that there's some sort of logic or code built into the system that when a certain set of conditions occurs, that some sort of an action is going to take place. And while this may certainly read like that, in this scenario, even if the bomb goes off after 60 hours, it's not something that's on the actual computer itself. When you're talking about ransomware, which is what this is, which is where the next answer is going to come, if there's keys or something like that are associated with having encrypted contents of this person's drive, those keys that would allow for the recovery are typically stored off system or frequently stored off system, and you have to pay money in order to get those keys back. And so this is not a logic bomb scenario. Next batter up, the user's being tricked by some sort of an email phishing scam. Nope, this is not what email phishing looks like. So negative. Finally, we come to the right answer. The computer has been infected with a ransomware. Absolutely. This particular ransomware sounds a lot like something called FUSOB or FUSOB. I don't know how you pronounce that. But that's specifically the way that this particular ransomware shows up, is it says that you've done something illegal with your computer, therefore it's been locked by the cyber police, and you got to pay some money within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble with the law. Okay, it attempts to scare you and intimidate you into going in and paying a fine. I can assure you, if you got some junk that's illegal on your computer, you got some kinds of adult content or something like that that's illegal and they're allowed to have, or any other kind of illegal stuff, that paying a fine to the powers that be is not typically going to get you off the hook. So if ever you see such a message, negative. And then the last choice I put on here just to distract you is that the ISP's web security gateway has detected some sort of malicious content on the user's computer. While that may sound very compelling, that is not what is actually happening here. Again, your ISP is not going to go in and lock your computer and tell you that they're the cyber police and you got to pay a fine. So this is classic ransomware kind of stuff. There you have it. Boom, boom. 2 more questions down. First question was on why do we consider the idea of mandatory vacation to be a potentially good thing? And the second one was ransomware. How's that going to look? So I hope you dug these questions. If you did, click like. If you want to get these every day, click subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.